friends. So today I'm going to be talking about human breast milk. I'm going to be specifically talking about what makes human breast milk change, why is it important, and what is in it that makes it important. So I will be adding my research URLs into the description below, so you guys can check that out if you want to. So to start off with, what makes human breast milk change? Obviously, the age of the baby, lactation stage, race, mother's diet can affect it, environmental factors, different infections or anything the mother experiences, also how it is stored, or if you warm it up from the freezer can affect it. This will cause different variations, but for the most part, breast milk has all of these components. It just may decrease or increase in small percentages through an infant's lifespan or based off different factors that I've just listed. So, why is breast milk important? Well, there is a lower incidence of otitis media, acute diarrhea episodes, lower respiratory infections, SIDS, obesity, asthma, also juvenile leukemia, specifically inflammatory bowel disease, and atopic dermatitis, and more. So it majorly decreases the risks of these happening in a child as a child grows, based off the foundation breast milk has created in an infant and newborn's body. It is said the percentage of exclusive breastfeeding for just the first 6 months of life decreases mortality worldwide by infectious diseases by 88%. 88%. So if worldwide women exclusively breastfed for just the first 6 months of life, would decrease deaths of infants by 88%. Now, so it's pretty important to know, why is this even happening? Why does it decrease these odds? So I'm going to start with carbs, then proteins, then I'll hit on fats and more, so that we can kind of break down what's in breast milk, what is decreasing these inflammatory reactions and diseases, and kind of talk about, is breast milk even a food, or is it more than that? So with carbohydrates, I'm going to talk about two today. That's lactose and oligosaccharides. So lactose is super important for the high energy demands a newborn and infant needs for brain development. They're using a lot of energy during this time. So lactose really helps with that by feeding that energy so that they can grow and develop their brain and central nervous system. It aids in absorption and attachment of oligosaccharides, which I will connect to right after this, and helps with minerals such as calcium and zinc. So with oligosaccharides, oligosaccharides serve as prebiotics. What that means is when the baby comes out, her gut is sterile. So before we introduce this baby to a lot of different pathogens, bacteria, other food sources, what breast milk colostrum does with oligosaccharides is it goes into the baby's body and it coats their intestines and gut. And by doing that, it prevents pathogens from attaching to the cell walls of the intestines and causing inflammatory reactions or infections. And some of those are E. coli, Streptococcus pneumonia, GBS, and Campylobacter. So all of these can cause a really hardship in a little baby's life, causing inflammatory reactions, infections, and so on. So that's what oligosaccharides helps a lot in. It's a prebiotic. So next I'm going to be talking about proteins. So there are different kinds of proteins in breast milk. There's whey, caseins, amino acids, peptides, and I'm going to just specifically be talking about whey proteins right now. So the first one is beta-lactobumin. So beta-lactobumin helps absorb minerals. It also binds to oleic acid, and what that does is it causes tumor cell death. It also known as Hamlet. So through this, it helps prevent cancers, helps with cancers, and so on. Lactoferrin is an antimicrobial. What it does is it increases the absorption of iron in the body. What this does is iron requiring pathogens, or pathogens that need iron to grow, it causes them to have a bacteriostatic action. And what that means is it prevents bacteria that need iron to grow to not be able to grow. It also has a bactericidal action against some pathogens, and bactericidal meaning it will cause their death. The next one we're going to talk about is SIGA. So SIGA helps deliver acquired immunity from mothers. So if a mother has received immunity from some virus or disease of some kind, has antibodies, SIGA helps bring that to the baby through the breast milk. And through that, it prevents the adherence of certain diseases, bacteria, pathogens such as E. coli, fibrocholeria, Campylobacter, Haemophilus influenza, rotavirus, cytomegalovirus, and Candida albicans. So this is a huge part in spreading that immunity, that passive immunity, through the breast milk to the baby. The next one we're going to be talking about is Lysozyme. So lysozymes inhibit the multiplication of pathogenic bacteria. It just means that it helps prevent certain pathogenic bacteria from continually growing. So now I'm going to talk about fats. Fats are the most important component of breast milk in relation to cognitive development, central nervous system development and growth in a newborn and infant. So these are very important. I won't be touching on all the fats in breast milk today, but if you want a video of me diving deeper into fats, specifically in breast milk, please let me know in comments below. So there are a few fats I'm going to talk about today: Sphingomyelins, linoleic acid, alpha-linoleic acid, AA, EPA, and DHA. Now, sphingomyelins, they affect myelination of the central nervous system, which just means they help with myelin, which affects the axons and their ability to transmit impulses of information and give that information back to your body. Take that information and give that information back and help you kind of process that. That's a really deep and long conversation to go into central nervous system and myelination. So if you want a video on that, please let me know and I will make a video on that, but I won't go any deeper right now. So the other fats is linoleic acid and alpha-linoleic acid. Now these are important simply because they convert to AA, EPA, and DHA. Now you may be familiar with EPA and DHA. Those are two really important components in prenatal vitamins, in fish oil. They're huge important fats that we're very in a low percentage in North America of intake. They're omega-3s, and they're really, really important to your nutrition, whether you're a baby or an adult. So what AA, EPA, and DHA do is they regulate growth, inflammatory responses, immune function, vision, cognitive development, and newborn motor systems. Now, very important. So when it comes to fats specifically, fats change throughout the infant and newborn lifespan, mainly based off maternal diet. So maternal diet, when that baby eats, relating to breast fullness and the lactation stage, are all components that will affect fat consumption of a newborn or infant. It's really important, especially in North America. We do not eat a lot of omega-3s, which is the DHA and the EPA. So it might be super beneficial to increase your intake if you're a mama and you're breastfeeding of DHA and EPA because of how important it is to your infant's growth. Now, one last thing I wanted to mention is milk fat globules. Now, these are fats and proteins, and what they do is they contain mucins. Mucins are very important because they protect infants from infection. Now, I've talked a lot about different components in breast milk that protect against inflammation and infection and pathogens and so on. But these specifically will help block infection by HIV, rotavirus, salmonella enterica, and more. I just wanted to mention that and bring that in because I just was researching that, read that, and I was like, wow, that's super important. So in summary, we went through a lot of information today. Unfortunately, I couldn't even dive further for time purposes, but if you want to look into the research and get an even deeper look of what's in breast milk and the important components that come with breast milk and how it affects newborns and infants and even mamas, then I will be posting the references of the research I have been studying in the description below, and you can check those out. Feel free to comment any questions, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.